Hi everyone, Prashan here, just to check up on you and to see how you're going with consolidating your knowledge and getting ready for those final assessments. When we design a final assessment, it's a summative assessment task and it's to see whether you've achieved the learning outcomes of that particular unit. And when we write those questions, we're not pulling them out of thin air. We're certainly not trying to scare you. We're certainly not trying to weed out any students. The idea is that the question is a trigger to something you have learned in that particular unit. So instead of reading a question and then panicking, which certainly I did in my own studies, is for you to look at the question, underline and highlight the key words in the question, and then start to think, okay, what week, what topic is this question actually referring to? And then you basically show off your knowledge to your lecturer, your unit convener, your tutor via writing the response to that particular question. Every unit guide has a series of learning outcomes. Make yourselves familiar with those learning outcomes. And every unit has about 12 or 13 different topics in the unit. So why not have one A4 sheet per topic per unit, which has the key words or key formulas or key graphs, key concepts summarized on an A4 sheet, big letters, highlighters, rulers, interesting things to help you remember and recall using your photographic memory during the final assessment task. I'm not saying to write an A4 sheet where you write those tiny formula type letters and a crib sheet. I'm saying a sheet of paper to help you recall those words that stands out, and then when you see a final exam or final assessment question, it helps you recall that piece of paper. Place those pieces of paper in different parts of your house so that again your brain is being activated in different parts of your house, and also in a final exam or final assessment setting you remember, that was the piece of paper and that's the concept that this question is referring to. Now, in terms of getting a good mark in your final assessment task, I would advise you to look at Google Bloom's taxonomy. And Bloom's taxonomy is a way that guides you from lower level learning to higher level learning. There are 6 levels of learning that Bloom's taxonomy advises. The most basic is remember. That's all about rote learning concepts. Your lecturer, your unit convener wants to see you at much higher levels of learning to reward you with those credits, distinctions, and even high distinctions. Just above remember is understand. So you're showing your unit convener that you're not just recalling or rote learned a concept, but you understand what this concept means. And just higher above understand is apply, where you can use that concept to a certain scenario or case study as given in a final assessment question. Just above apply is analyze, where let's say you may be given a case study and you can break it apart and look at the case study at a deeper level and not just apply the concepts but break the case study totally apart and have a synergy of several concepts working together at a much higher level of learning. Above analyze is evaluate, where you can look at 2 sides or more than 2 sides of a particular story, and you can weigh up the pros and cons or advantages and disadvantages and come up with a balanced and evidence-based argument at the end as your conclusion. And just above evaluate is create, which you may do in a project setting and certainly applies to units that have a thesis component in it. So do look at Bloom's taxonomy so that you know the different levels of learning and you don't just rest at remembering the concepts because you want to get those higher marks and you want to show off to your unit convener that you do know the content at a much higher level. And Remember, the whole idea behind an assessment task is for us to reward you with marks based on the evidence that you provide in front of us. So if you look at a question and panic and leave it blank, we can't reward you. Certainly, you know something about that question. So where do you start? Highlight and underline the keywords in the question. Pause and think, what topic is this question referring to? Then maybe on the side, write down those key concepts, or in the answer booklet, write a sentence about those key concepts, and it'll start triggering your memory. And then you'll recall a seminar or a tutorial or a lecture where that concept was utilized at a much higher level of learning, and then you can emulate that in writing your response at a higher level to get that higher mark. So in terms of consolidating your knowledge, it's certainly an ongoing process. Keep doing that. Now is a good time to start and get those A4 sheets ready. And then when the final assessment task comes, you just need to recall those sheets and recall those different words, concepts, formulas, graphs, and then you can start applying, analyzing, evaluating, and impressing us. And we know that you know this stuff at high levels of learning. We just need the evidence to give you that marks. So we are on your side and we want to reward you with great grades. We are in this together, whether it's online learning or not. So do understand where we are coming from. We're here to empower and equip you, certainly not to weed anyone out and to fail anyone who doesn't deserve to fail. So hope this helps you in some way. And your tutors, your lecturers, your unit conveners are here to help you. Please do reach out, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.